All right, my name is Ahmed Salahuddin. I work closely with a lot of bright people like Albert, who constantly educate me on what they do and how help improve the lab. I am the Assistant Vice President of Lab Services for Virtua Health. And the presentation I'm going to show you is part of a bigger presentation that we do about every 4 to 5 months at Rowan University. So every time you have a graduating class that's about to graduate, who went to, who's getting a BS degree, as long as they have a certain number of credits in biology and chemistry, we are able to hire them and train them to work in the lab. So this presentation is going to show you that if you came into a Bachelor's of Science program thinking I am going to do this, that, or this, and in the second or third year, you're saying, that's not me, or I don't see myself doing this, or I don't like this, I don't have a propensity for this. I like tinkering with things in the lab, and I'm detail oriented. I like analysis. I like observation, making inferences. Then you can start, eliminating some of the professions, right, that require a lot of face time with people, right? So some people come in. I mean, I myself came into college not wanting to go to med school, not wanting to go to med school. I wanted to go to a business school. The business school didn't want me. So I went to pharmacy school. I did really well in pharmacy school, but in the third year of pharmacy school, I said, I don't see myself repacking pills all day from a larger to a smaller container. I did well in school, but the profession wasn't for me, Like you go through these triangles in life, right? I had a contractor. This one's cheap. This one's fast. This one is good, right? This person loves me. This person's good for me, but I love this person. What's the right choice for me, right? This house fits me. This house is too expensive for me, right? But I don't like this neighborhood. So you kind of triangulate things in life, and this is kind of how we got to this, right? So then I basically, after doing very well in pharmacy school, I did my Master's of Science in Clinical Chemistry. And during that, I got exposed to toxicology. And Albert referred to mass spectroscopy. I became an expert at mass spectroscopy. That was my thing. But toxicology is a big field, right? And I did my internship at a forensic lab. I learned all the way how to do it, and I really enjoyed it. And I said, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And then I quickly realized, in order to do that the right way, you have to have a PhD in forensic toxicology, board certification, both clinical and I had seen the academic life a lot because both my parents were university professors, and that's a great life, except I already was exposed to that life. And so I decided to sell my soul to the Jersey Devil. I did my MBA and became a businessman and administrator. I became an investor, and that's what I've kind of done with my life. And recently, they've taken the risk of hiring me as an adjunct faculty here to destroy the future generation. And so what we've done is every lab in the world has dreamt of taking a Bachelor's of Science student who has not gone to medical lab science specific school and see if they can be trained, groomed, or oriented to work in a clinical lab in a hospital. It's not easy, but it's doable. And what we found through our experiment is that Rowan students are very bright, very smart, very dedicated, intelligent, and they inspire their students here. I'm sorry, I keep using the word kids and I have to bite my tongue. To be very, very excited about microbiology and working in the lab. So we have hired about 16 Rowan students in the last 2 years who have not gone to medical lab science school, and they're doing awesome. Some of them have got promoted already. How many in micro?
There's three right now in micro.
And then you just hired someone.
Yes.
Who's going to start training?
Yes.
Right. So I keep my eye on this because this program is very close to my heart. So this is kind of what we're going to map out to say, hey, if you're interested in working in a health system in a hospital clinical lab, then you might want to consider this profession. And we are going to do a formal presentation on April 11th in your student center, Chamberlain Student Center,
yes,
from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you are you signed up?
Oh, no.
Okay. So if you are interested in working in a hospital clinical lab, then show up there. There are many other programs that Rowan is starting that are clinical lab driven, that are not necessarily degree. There's certificate of undergrad studies, there's certificate of grad studies. Your Rowan Medical School has a histology program. It also is starting a cytotechnology program, right? So just think about all of those programs, right? Oh.
Hit the down arrow.
The downhill, aha, I'm going in the wrong direction. Order of events for today, introduction, I don't think I'm gonna show you the video, but okay, this presentation will cover a little bit of information about Virtua Health. That's who writes our paycheck, so we're very loyal to that. Information about Virtua Health Labs, career opportunities at Virtua Health Labs. What is a clinical lab scientist or medical technologist? The old terminology was medical technologist. For a short time, it became clinical lab scientist. We all call it now medical lab scientist, and that's what the name of the degree in Rowan is going to be eventually called medical lab scientist. The degree program is already launched in September of last year, but and we have somebody enrolled in it already. Somebody who is one of your students here who now works for us. Education offered Rowan to prepare for an MLS career. I'm not going to go through that. So Virtua Health is a combination of 5 different hospitals, many urgent care centers, 2 freestanding satellite EDs, many health and wellness centers, about close to 15,000 employees, and we have 400 plus sites in South Jersey. Anybody here have any connection to Virtua Health? What?
I have 2 friends that work in the lab.
Really?
Yeah, they're in chemistry.
Oh,
And then my mom just started working.
your mom is working at Virtua?
Yeah, but she's like administration.
That's fine. What's her name?
Joanna.
What does she do?
She's like one of the administration girls, so like front desk, that kind of thing.
Oh, very nice. And what is the name of your friends who work in chemistry?
Mina and
Yeah,
Giancarlo.
yeah, Mina's working at Our Lady of Lourdes. And Giancarlo is working there. I heard that name as well. Okay, yes, Mina, I know her. Yeah. Mina is getting ready for something big in the fall when she completes her 2 years. That name came up.
My dad recently started working for Virtua Health.
Very nice. Congratulations. That's all. It's a good place to work. Excellent benefits. So these are the hospitals. The one on the top left with the curved building, that's Virtua Voorhees. The one on its right at the top is Virtua Marlton. The Willingboro Hospital is the kind of yellowish building to the right in the middle, and the one on the left in the middle is Mount Holly, and the one at the bottom is Virtua Our Lady of Lourdes. It has a statue, was Catholic hospital, there's a statue of Mary. It has lights around Mary, and one day we decided to shut the lights out, and we got calls from many pilots who land at Philadelphia Airport. They were upset. They used to use it as a marker to mark a certain portion of the descent before the land. The statue turns different colors based on what's happening. Heart health, women's health, when there's a liver transplant, it's called purple, so the statue turns purple. It almost fell down one day. I used to be in charge of facilities management back then. I had to go up on the roof and tether down Mary to make sure she doesn't fall. It was a complex operation. An earthquake happened. This is about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and right after the earthquake, a storm was going to come in 4 days. So we had to get up there with some structural engineers to cable down Mary. Then we had to take her off, put steel girders inside and reinstall her. 9,000 pounds scratching. So Virtua Health. So the lab exists in 8 different locations, and each lab is generally a combination of many areas. Albert alluded to it. We have a chemistry lab where a lot of the automated and robotic testing takes place. About 90% of the results are signed out by a computer. You only have to look at the abnormal results to say if they're ready to go, but 90% of the results, more than 90% are signed out by a computer using algorithms to make sure the result is good or bad. A lot of robotics. In fact, you put a closed tube, the instrument will centrifuge it. Every portion, every instrument, it goes on a robotic line, will sip a portion, do the results, match it to the previous patient's result, match it to the patient's diagnoses, say they're okay, and then just sign it. Hematology is the study of blood and clotting, intrinsic clotting pathway, extrinsic clotting pathway. You must have studied it in biochemistry or biology. Urinalysis, and we study cells, white cells, red cells, platelets, and the ability to clot, right? So a lot of people take baby aspirin, people take Coumadin, sodium warfarin, people take heparin, which is basically given in surgery to make sure that the trauma caused in surgery, because it doesn't cause the blood to clot during surgery, and we monitor those things in that lab. And blood banking is transfusion services. We don't allow anybody to work in blood bank unless they studied blood bank. So as a result of that, the Rowan Medical School is offering a blood banking course. So if somebody from Rowan came and they said, I want to work in blood bank, we hired them, but we have them take the course in blood bank. And somebody, one of your students here has done that and is now working in blood bank. And then histology is the study of tissue. You take a small piece of tissue in the OR, it could be large tissue, it could be a biopsy, and then you bring it into the lab and you cut it in basically very small pieces, very thin slices. You must have done section cutting at some point in either zoology or botany or histology, and then you mount it on a slide, you look for cancer. You look at the stages and grading of cancer, how fast it's going, and also what it responds to, right? For example, if a woman's breast tissue comes, you see, does it respond to estrogen and progesterone? Because there are cancers that will thrive in the presence of certain hormones. And so that's what you see do in histology. Microbiology, this is the master here. Point of care testing is the testing that happens at the patient's bedside. Phlebotomy is the ability to draw blood. You don't need a college degree. Most high school students do that. We hire a large number of pre-health students from Rowan University every year. We put them through our phlebotomy program, and then they come and draw blood on the weekend. And instead of making $14 in a deli, they make 18, 19 bucks getting a clinical skill, which helps them a lot during the interview for med schools. They're very confident because, and they basically know how to navigate in a hospital. And some of them have been at it for 2 years now. And then cytology is basically looking at body fluids. 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay, from this point, or am I done my 10
No.
minutes? From this point, that's 10 minutes. Okay, all right. I have to put more money in the meter to get time here. All right. Cytology is basically looking at abnormal body fluids to detect cancer. The starting salary is 100 grants plus. Rowan Medical School is starting a cytology program with our collaboration. We'll launch in the fall. And then these are the various areas, you just saw them. So what happens, patient comes to the hospital, to the doctor. On the top, the guy with the little light on his head, on the top left, he writes some tests, collect a sample, send it to the lab that does an analysis. They make sure that the report is good. And Albert talked about the chart, the medical record, we call that chart in the hospital. We have our own jargon in the hospital. We use different terms for different things. Specimen pathway, we just talked about this. And no video today. So what do you need to do to work in a lab? Medical lab scientist is a 4-year degree. So if you were to decide to do this, we bring you and we train you. And at the end of this process, you'll become what's called a medical lab scientist. You can also work in the lab with an associate's degree, such as one from Mercer County. We have a collaboration with them. They come with a 2-year degree, and then they train for 1 year to become a medical lab technician. That's the difference. ASCP is the board of certification. If you were to work in the lab for a certain period of time, we'd sign off to say that you have completed so much experience, and then you'd be allowed to sit for a certification exam in that discipline. If you went to a medical lab science school, you'll be signed up as a generalist. But if you come out of a non-medical lab science school, you will get a certification in the specific discipline that you train in: chemistry, hematology, blood bank, so forth. So I'm a specialist in clinical chemistry. Educational requirements, you need at least 30 credits, 24 credits combined in chemistry and biology, and 6 have to be in chemistry and 6 have to be in biology. So we will only take somebody who has a bachelor's of science. We hire people ahead of their graduation sometimes because the graduation is pending, as long as you are in good standing. So the training time in each discipline, if you train in chemistry and hematology, that's considered the 2 departments, but it's combined training, it's 6 months. If you train in micro, it's 6 months. If you train in histo, it's 6 months. If you train in blood bank, taken the course, it's 6 months of training. Okay. In microbiology, when you train for 6 months, you've scratched the surface. Even reading plates require, when he says bacteriology is basic bacteriology, reading plates require at least a year, right? And then you have, so the training it takes longer, but you can work independently after 6 months of training, okay? We say that you commit to us for 1 year if you basically decide to do this. If we invest $40,000, $50,000 in training you for a half a year, we want you to commit to us and work for us for 1 year. And so 1 year begins when your training is complete. Most people will finish their training in 6 months. Occasionally, somebody wants a little more time in cell identification and hematology or so forth, and we'll make that accommodation. We've never kicked anybody out of the program. If you want to do this, sometimes you will come into a job. You will actually be hired. You won't be a student. You'll be hired as an employee. But you may not come into a full-time job. You may come into a part-time or per diem job. Am I moving to? But 90% of the time, within the 6 months, you will find a full-time job in the health system because so many openings come up. And why did we go this? Because there was an acute shortage in our industry. So career choices, you can work in a hospital, you can work in a commercial lab such as Quest Diagnostic or LabCorp. You can work for instrument manufacturers, they're always hiring. They also pay higher, but you have to travel frequently. Pharmaceutical industry hires a medical lab scientist, a lot of them. You can teach and you can work in lab information systems. We have 15 people working in our information systems department who are former medical lab scientists. They just like computers. Typical salary, just to start, is about 30, 31, and you can go up to 50 based on experience. Your progression is technologist or medical lab scientist, now lead, supervisor, manager, director, AVP, VP. And then one of your colleagues who was a student here last year has already become a lead, and we're looking to promote him further. So it happens very quickly.
Can we stop for some questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There, do you?
Done. This is it.
Perfect.
When you bring in a student for the 6-month training session, is that a paid position?
It is. You make 29 bucks an hour.
Yeah,
Somewhere in that ballpark. I think 28, 29.
yep, you get paid for training.
29 and change.
I just left to my faculty.
Yeah.
You go. Okay, you're hired. We have some positions.
You can pay better than I do.
This
Yeah.
is what I wanted to do after my bachelor's, and I couldn't get in anywhere.
Well, we have
Like, "Ah, I
jobs.
guess I'll go to grad school.
We have jobs, Professor Hinton.
Right.
Is there any extra, like, preparation that we have to do besides just getting a BS in biology?
You have to come to the open house.
Yeah, just so we,
Going either way. So.
yeah. No, I mean, you know, the course that I may talk about, the core, those are the core requirements that you have. Besides that, there is no extra preparation. When you get to the lab, we give you all of the resources that you need in order to, so that you're successful during that 6 months.
Yeah, some of it is reading time. There'll be quizzes, there'll be exams. Yes, sir.
A question from online. What do new hires tend to struggle with most in the micro lab?
So what I've seen, the concept of grasping, plate reading, that takes a while. So let's say, for example, right, you have an abscess, right? Foot abscess, correct? And they open the plates, right? And now all of a sudden you have like 5 or 6 different organisms looking at you with morphotypes, correct? And so they kind of scratching their head and say, okay, now what do I do? So that takes a while, but we do have mentors that are assigned to them that will go over, that there's specific literature and that will go over them and to help them differentiate those, what's relevant and what's not relevant. But that takes time, and those are the ones that I see a lot.
And you can ask any question. You can ask anything you want. So don't be shy.
We know that AI technology is improving. We know that machines are becoming more and more automated. If I get a job with you, will it be obsolete in 5 years?
No.
No.
People thought that when we signed this 35 years ago, when we started, the computer started signing out results, medical lab scientists were extremely nervous. I tell you, hundreds of people came to me and they said, I'm quitting, I'm going. Nobody lost their job. Pathologists, digital pathology, the slide, urinalysis, we all do it digitally now. When we take a little bit of urine, we pour it in the machine spins it down, puts the cells, counts the cells, and signs the result out. Nobody lost their job. We still need the people.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that core fundamentals of clinical microbiology, that results interpretation, I think with the AI technology, it's still relevant. And I've not seen any, movement in the other directions. So that skill, that human skill is still needed. Yeah, it's still there.
That's young gentle.
If you hire any postgraduates, will there be like a part-time position for them or anything for grad schools or anything, or just like depending on like microbiology or like?
The lab runs 24/7. There's always positions as long as you're flexible, but you have to train full-time. You have to come 8 hours a day for 6 months
Yes.
during the day to train. Training will be in the daytime.
That's like.
Yeah. Yeah, training, yes, it has to be under there, yeah.
$29, I'll do that.
And the training only happens at one of the lab locations, correct?
Yeah, so so 99% of infectious disease is done at Fort East, which is the biggest laboratory. So the training is gonna be done at Fort East. However, chemistry and hematology, we have different locations. And so you can train at, for example, in Camden, you can train at Fort East, you could be training in Mount Holly at our other location. But if you're interested in infectious disease, Fort East is the only hospital that offers that training.
My phone is really big. How many people are working in the micro lab at like one time?
So right now we have altogether, we have like around 40 colleagues, right? It's a 24-hour, 7 days a week operation. However, those specialty areas like the mycology, the parasites, the microbiology, we have probably like around 6 colleagues that are specialized in those areas, correct? And so one of the things that, we realize is that, we give you the fundamentals, but the fundamentals is bacteriology. We're not gonna put you in the parasite when you come in. We wanna make sure that you get everyone has to learn bacteriology. And then if you're interested in the other subdivisions as well, like the parasites, you're interested in parasites, for example, then we put in parasites. But it's usually like around 5, 6 that is dedicated to that particular section. Yes.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. However, the good news is April 11th.
April 11th, I think it's a Thursday, right? April 11th. Could somebody check me on that?
And we can put a link out for whoever wants to register to
Yeah,
join.
April 11th is a Thursday, I
There will
believe.
be snacks and beverages for
Yes.
your refreshment.
At 3, right? 3 p.m.
3
Yeah,
to 5.
Yeah,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
So,
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, and then what we do is when we come there, we'll give you the date and the link to register for the interview. We bring you in for a full day. You're not there for a full day, you're there about 2 hours. And in that time, you'll interview, you'll tour the lab, you'll talk to every manager who oversees the lab. And that's also a good interview practice. So like I'm teaching a course in clinical chemistry here. I told all the students who were there, I said, you should come in just to get the interview practice.
Excellent. Well, let's thank our guests.
Thank you. Thank you.